A very good evening. This is Primetime News on TV1. We are coming to you live and direct from our latest studio complex, Studio R, here at Braywood Place, Colombo. I'm Parashu Kumar Singha.
And I'm Yuki Pasha. Before we head into your stories in detail, let's start off with a look at your headlines.
Cabinet of Ministers sworn in. 16 ministers, including the Prime Minister, in the cabinet. Gaman Pilla decides not to accept a ministerial portfolio in the interim government. President says chairpersons of state-owned enterprises and corporations will be appointed through a committee and requests proposals to be presented. Protest launched by a disabled soldier opposite Sirikota demanding Ranil Wickremesinghe to step down from party leadership. Final respects paid to the remains of D.M. Jayaratna in Parliament.
Now on to a headline-making story. A new cabinet comprising of 16 ministers was sworn in before President Gotabaya Rajapaksa today.
The ministers were sworn in collectively at a ceremony held at the Presidential Secretariat.
ආණ්ඩුක්‍රම ව්‍යවස්ථාව ආරක්ෂා කොට අනුගමනය කරන බවටද ශ්‍රී ලංකාවේ දේශීය
Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa was sworn in as the Minister of Finance, National Policies and Economic Affairs, Urban Development, Buddha Sasana, Religious Affairs, Housing and Water Supply. Dinesh Gunawardena was sworn in as Minister of Foreign Affairs, Skill Development, Employment and Labour Relations. Dr. Bandula Gunawardena was sworn in as the Minister of Higher Education, Technology and Innovation. Janaka Bandara Tennakon is the new Minister of State Administration, Internal Affairs, Provincial Council and Local Government. Nimal Siripala de Silva was sworn in as the Minister of Justice, Human Rights and Legal Reforms. Arumugan Tondaman is the new Minister of Social Empowerment and Estate Infrastructure Development. Pavitra Devi Wanyarachi was sworn in as the Minister of Health and Indigenous Health Services and Women's and Children's Affairs. Minister of Fisheries and Aquatic Resource Development is Douglas Devananda. Johnston Fernando was sworn in as Minister of Ports and Shipping and Roads and Highways. Vimal Veeravansa is the Minister of Small and Medium Enterprise Development, Industries and Supply Management.
මීළඟ ගෞරවනීය ඇරයුම ගරු චමල් රාජපක්ෂ මැතිතුමන්ට
Minister of Mah Valley, Agriculture, Irrigation and Rural Development, Internal Trade and Consumer Protection is Chamal Rajapaksa. Dallas Alahaperuma is the new Minister of Education, Sports and Youth Affairs. Mahinda Amravira was sworn in as Minister of Passenger Transport Management, Power and Energy. S.M. Chandrasena was sworn in as Minister of Lands and Land Development, Environment and Wildlife. Ramesh Patrana was sworn in as Minister of Plantation Industries and Export Agriculture. Prasanna Ranatunga is the Minister of Industrial Exports and Investment Promotion, Tourism and Aviation.
By Monday, we will be able to inform the remaining state ministerial positions. I request the ministers to support the state ministers to engage in their activities. I'd like to specially request from all ministers and state ministers who are due to be appointed to work based on the policies we presented via our manifesto. We know that many state enterprises and corporations that are operated under ministers are incurring massive losses. We have to continue these organizations in a manner they will not be a burden to the treasury. This is possible. A board consisting of qualified and professional personnel should be appointed to in-state directors or chairpersons to these state organizations. So in our manifesto, we have mentioned that a selecting committee will be appointed to do this. I request ministers to direct their recommendations and suggestions to the board to do the needful. This is important because we have to make these institutions efficient and profit-earning. The vacancies that do not require skill should be filled with poor families. So without directly getting involved in the process, the minister should give equal opportunities to MPs representing their respective regions.
Following the address made by the President, the new Cabinet of Ministers posed for a photograph.
Now, as mentioned in your headlines tonight, MP Uday Gamanpilla in a letter to the President had noted that he would not accept any ministerial portfolios in the interim government.
In his letter, Gamanpilla says among the group who supported the President are 8 former cabinet ministers who are anticipating cabinet positions. He added many district leaders are also anticipating cabinet positions in the interim government. Gamanpilla says it was initially proposed to form a cabinet of 10 members. It was a tough decision to limit it even to 15 members. Gamanpilla went on to say, considering difficulties the President and the Prime Minister would have experienced in preparing the cabinet, he decided not to accept a cabinet position.
Meanwhile, several newly appointed ministers assumed their duties at their respective ministries today.
Mahinda Amaraveera assumed duties as the Minister of Passenger Transport, Power and Energy at 3 ministries today. He first assumed duties as the Minister of Power and then visited the Ministry of Petroleum Resources Development.
Sri Lanka Nidas Pakshe Niyojane Karamin.
We have been appointed to the ministerial positions as an appreciation of the support we extended to him. As far as I know, the Ceylon Electricity Board, the Ceylon Petroleum Corporation, the Railways Department and the CTB, they are all loss-making entities. We ensure these entities will no longer be a burden to the general public and the Treasury. I request all senior officers of the ministries to work towards developing our nation. We have a new president with a new vision. We have an equally prepared Prime Minister as well. Let's all work hard to build our country.
මේ කාල වකවානුව තුල මේ රට ගොඩනැගීමේ කාර්යභාරයට අපි කවුරුත් දායක වෙමුයි කියන ආරාධනයයි කරන්නේ.
Subsequently, Minister Mahinda Amaraveera assumed duties at the Ministry of Transport. S.M. Chandrasena assumed duties as the Minister of Environment, Wildlife, Land and Land Development today at the Ministry of Lands and Parliamentary Reforms in Battaramulla.
ඉඩම් ඔප්පුවක් බලාපොරොත්තුවෙන් ඉන්න අයට පුළුවන් තරම් ඉක්මනින් ඉඩම් ඔප්පුවක් ලබා දෙන්න.
We will provide land deeds to everyone who are in need of lands immediately. Basil Rajapaksa is not well, but he pointed out that no land should be given to foreign nationals unnecessarily.
අසනීප තත්ත්වයෙන් පොඩ්ඩක් ඉන්නේ. ඒ ඉඳලත් මට කිව්වේ ඉඩම් විදේශිකයන්ට අනවශ්‍යව ඉඩම් පවරන්න වැඩේ කරන්න කිසිම ඉඩක් දෙන්න.
Bandula Gunawardena, who was sworn in as the Minister of Information and Communications Technology, Higher Education and Innovation, assumed his duties at the Ministry of Higher Education.
වෘත්ති අධ්‍යාපනයේ විප්ලවීය වෙනසක් කරන්න නව හැරවුම් ලක්ෂයක් නිර්මාණය කරන්නට
I believe that this people's mandate will give us the strength to create a turning point by revolutionarily changing the higher education sector and the vocational education sector. Universities should be transformed into a beautiful place where every student has the chance to study higher education. We promise to provide the chance of studying higher education to every student who passes the advanced level examination.
තමයි ජනාධිපතිතුමාගේ ප්‍රධාන මුඛ්‍ය දේශපාලන පොරොන්දු.
Douglas Devananda, who was sworn in as the Minister of Fisheries and Aquatic Resources Development, assumed his duties at his ministry this evening.
All the issues faced by the fishermen in this country should be resolved. We will work towards uplifting their lives. A good opportunity has been given to the Tamil community by the President and the Prime Minister. Also, I would work for the betterment of the Tamil community at a political and a social level.
Arumugam Thondaman, who was appointed as the Minister of Social Empowerment and Estate Infrastructure Development, assumed his duties at his respective ministry.
We have to develop this country. We will carry out these projects. We will work in this manner for the next 5 years and we will work in the same way for the next 5 years to come. Our President Gotabaya Rajapaksa is planning on the future procedure of the country.
Nimal Siripala de Silva, who was appointed as the Minister of Justice, Human Rights and Legal Reforms, also assumed his duties at the Ministry of Justice. Dallas Salha Peruma, who was appointed as the Minister of Education, Sports and Youth Affairs, assumed his duties at the Ministry of Sports today.
Meanwhile, the US Ambassador to Sri Lanka, Elena B. Teplitz, and the Japanese Ambassador to Sri Lanka, Sugiyama Akira, met President Gotabaya Rajapaksa at the Presidential Secretariat today.
President's Media Division said Deputy Chief of Mission Martin Kelly and Chief Political Officer Anthony Renzulli of the US Embassy in Sri Lanka also attended the meeting. Chief of Mission Toshihiro Kitamura and Deputy High Commissioner Takeshi Osaki of the Japanese Embassy in Sri Lanka also attended the meeting. According to the President's Media Division, both foreign missions held cordial discussions with the President.
In more local news, the Police Narcotics Bureau arrested 2 suspects from Rajagiriya for the possession of 10 kilograms of heroin.
The suspects are a 24-year-old male and a 31-year-old woman. The Police Narcotics Bureau is conducting further investigations. The stock of heroin is worth 120 million rupees.
මම ජීබී ඉන්ද්‍රාවතී මම පදිංචි වෙලා ඉන්නේ හෙළාරාවේ ඉස්සර අපි වතුර ගේන්න යන්න පාන්දර යන්න ඕනේ පාන්දර ගිහිල්ලා වතුර ගේන්නේ ඒ ගෙනල්ලා උයල පිහලා මේ දරු පැටියන්ට කන්න බොන්න දීලා ඉස්කෝලේට යවන්න ගොඩක් අමාරුයි දැන් අපිට හැමදේම දැන් පහසු වෙලා තියෙනවා අපිට මේ වතුර ටික ලබා දුන්නට ගම්මැද්ද සවියට බොහොම ස්තුතියි
Now, the footage that our viewers are witnessing right now is captured through a mobile cam, and this is the first instance in Sri Lanka that such technology is used in a newsroom. Continuing with more local news, a retired injured war veteran commenced a fast opposite UNP headquarters Sirikotha early this morning, demanding Ranil Wickremesinghe to step down as the party leader.
The fast was launched at around 5 a.m. today. During this time, a group held placards in support of Ranil Wickremesinghe close to Sirikotha.
නිදහස් වාද්‍යයක් තියෙනවා නම් මේ රටේ දැන් මම පාන්දර 5 මාර ඉඳලා මම මෙතන ඉන්නේ. උදේ 5 මාර ඉඳන් මම මෙතන ඉන්නේ. ඔය කිසි කෙනෙක් හිටියේ නැහැ. දැන් මං ආව විතරයි යතන එකක් ගැහුවා මෙතන එකක් ගැහුවා. නායකතුමාට විරුද්ධව තමයි මං ඉන්නේ. එතුමා පක්ෂේ නායකත්වයේ බාර දෙන්න ඕන සජිත් මහත්තයාට.
I requested all UNPers to support me. I'm an injured soldier. I receive a good salary to live. I've come forward today because I no longer can bear the UNP leader's disgraceful actions. He was always in the opposition. He never won. He must step down as party leader and hand over the party to the younger leaders. This is how the country goes forward. He can serve as an advisor to the party. We have no reason to stand under light posts. He is responsible for this situation.
This was the manner in which Ranil Wickremesinghe and General Secretary of the party Akhila Viraj Karyavasam left the premises during the fast. The injured soldier said he decided to call off the protest following a promise made by Tissattanayaka this evening.
Tissattanayaka ගරු ඇමතිතුමාගේ නියෝජිතයෙක්ව පළාත් සභා මන්ත්‍රීවරයෙක් ඇවිල්ලා දැන් මට කිව්වා ඒක නතර කරන්න කියලා නායකතුමාට ඒ බව දැනුවත් කරන්න කියලා මම දැනට తాවකාලිකව මගේ උපවාසය නතර කරනවා.
Meanwhile, leader of the United National Party Ranil Wickremesinghe spoke about the presidential election during a media briefing in Sirikotha today.
මේ ඡන්ද තිබුණ අවස්ථාවේදී විශේෂයෙන්ම මේ යන්ත්‍රණයත් ඒ ඡන්ද ව්‍යාපාරයට බාර දුන්නා. මේ යන්ත්‍රණයත් සිරිකොතත් ඒ වැඩ කටයුතු කරපු බවට මට සහතික වෙන්න පුළුවන්.
I can assure you that the party mechanism and Sirikotha worked during this election. I deny the allegations that cite the campaign was weakened. The campaign was not weakened due to my intervention or the party mechanism. We delegated responsibilities among our main members, including ministers. We instructed them to fulfill those responsibilities. I took over the responsibility of the northern and eastern votes, and I was able to increase the voting percentage. But unfortunately, the votes in the remaining 7 provinces reduced. This was the reason for our defeat. Though we won certain districts as a whole, we were defeated. In my view, we did not receive the expected positive response for our effort to establish democracy, develop social services and initiate development. The party must look into the reasons why it lost the Sinhala Buddhist votes, because it has never happened before. Results must be reviewed. We can go forward only after reviewing the results. There is no point in blaming one another. The party or its office bearers held no responsibility on the finances for the campaign. We were not responsible for finances. Action will be taken against those who raise allegations against the party without examining the details properly. We must think about the future of the party and put forward new leaders. Based on this review, we must hand over the task to the new leaders to present a new policy framework. The transformation will then be complete. We can then go forward with the leadership without any fear. Let's obtain the blessings of the Mahasangha for the program and go forward as a new UNP.
මේ වැඩසටහනට ගරු සංඝරත්නයේ ආශිර්වාදය ලබාගෙන නව එක්සත් ජාතික පක්ෂයක් හැටියට ඉදිරියට යමු.
Today, Ranil Wickremesinghe, accompanied by Akhila Viraj Karyavasam and Navin Disanayaka, visited the party headquarters, which was previously shut down for the general public who intended to meet Sajith Premadasa. Can the statement made by Ranil Wickremesinghe regarding the loss of Sinhalese Buddhist votes during the presidential election be accepted?
සිංහල බෞද්ධ ජනතාව අතර එක්සත් ජාතික පක්ෂය ඈත්වීමට ඈත් කිරීම සඳහා කටයුතු කරපු ප්‍රබල දේශපාලන නායකයෝ කීප දෙනෙක් මේ අභ්‍යන්තරය තුල ඉන්නවා.
There are several powerful leaders within the party who have acted to distance the UNP from the Sinhala Buddhist community. We clearly know that it was Ranil Wickremesinghe who handled everything here. We'd like to state that Sinhalese Buddhists were distanced from the party when false accusations were levelled against Buddhist monks and when they were arrested during the premiership of Ranil Wickremesinghe. Now Ranil Wickremesinghe has suggested to present a series of proposals to bond with Sinhalese Buddhists. People will not be deceived by fake proposals put forward by leaders who don't believe in safeguarding Buddhism. Ranil Wickremesinghe should move away from the United National Party. What's suitable is to give the leadership to a Sinhalese Buddhist.
වික්‍රමසිංහ මේ කියන එක්සත් ජාතික පක්ෂයෙන් ඈත් විය යුතුයි. සිංහල බෞද්ධ කමිටුවේ නායකත්වයට බාර දීම තමයි සුදුසු කියලා මේ වෙලාවේ විශේෂයෙන් මතක් කරන්න ඕනේ.
Political activists of the United National Party voiced their objection over the statement made by the leader of the party about applying the party mechanism to emerge victorious during the presidential election.
As a party, we did not have any mechanism. Our party's mechanism was with someone else. The party should have taken action when the mechanism was not effective. However, I clearly state Sajith Premadasa did not receive that support. The organizers of certain electorates had not even toured their area and distributed leaflets to houses. It was only Sajith Premadasa's profile that spread across the country that helped him to obtain 5.5 million votes. But as a party, did we support him? Even though a few members worked hard, did the party's mechanism work out? And now when they ask him to stay away because of the defeat he suffered, the politics within the party is very clear. And today we say we are not ready to revisit that point.
What happened to the funds allocated for the presidential election, although Ranil Wickremesinghe denied any involvement in party finances?
5.5 million votes were obtained because of Sajith Premadasa. It wasn't because of someone else's doing. There's an issue with regard to the finances the party received, especially about how it was coordinated and managed. We also have doubts if the funds were utilized effectively.
මන්දීකරණය කරේ. ඉතින් ඒ අරමුදල් නිශ්චයාකාරයෙන් එකතු කරගත්තද පක්ෂය. ඒවා මේ පක්ෂයේ අරමුදල් ප්‍රතිවර්ණ ව්‍යාපාරය සඳහා යෙදුවද කියන ප්‍රශ්නේ.
Will supporters of the United National Party accept the boasts of Ranil Wickremesinghe, citing he only engaged in the election campaign in the northern and eastern provinces and succeeded in increasing the percentage of votes in the respective areas? Ranil Wickremesinghe was appointed as the Prime Minister in 1993 following the assassination of former President Ranasinghe Premadasa. The presidential candidate of the UNP in 1994 was Gamini Dissanayake. After his demise, Ranil Wickremesinghe evaded contesting the presidential poll while being next in line, and this resulted in the party losing that election as well. Ever since, the UNP suffered continuous defeats under the leadership of Ranil Wickremesinghe. Contesting the presidential polls in 1999, Ranil Wickremesinghe obtained a total vote percentage of 42.71%. In yet another loss suffered by the party, the total voter percentage at the general election in the year 2000 further declined to 40.22%. The UNP headed by Ranil Wickremesinghe won the general election in 2001 with a voter percentage of 45.62%, that too with the support of a broad coalition of parties. However, Ranil Wickremesinghe failed to secure state power. Subsequently, at the general election in 2004, the UNP under the leadership of Ranil Wickremesinghe obtained a vote percentage of only 37.83%. At the presidential election in 2005, the UNP with a voter percentage of 48.43% was once again defeated. In 2010, for the first time in history, the UNP failed to field a candidate for the presidential election and instead supported Field Marshal Sara Fonseca as the common candidate. Obtaining a voter percentage of 40.15%, he too was defeated. Subsequently, at the 2010 general election, the UNP, under the leadership of Ranil Wickremesinghe, which obtained a voter percentage of just 29.34%, was once again defeated. In the 2015 presidential election, Ranil Wickremesinghe rose to power, riding the wave of victory of Maithripala Sirisena, who obtained a voter percentage of 51.28%. Whilst the party was able to win the highest number of seats at the subsequent general election in 2015, the UNP was unable to gain the majority of 113 seats to form a government on its own. At this election, the party once again, leading a broader coalition, received 45.66% of the valid votes cast. Although the UNP, under the leadership of then Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe, contested the local government polls in 2018 together with a number of other parties, they were only able to secure 32.61% of the votes. This collapse came about despite the UNP being the main party in government at the time. Against such a losing streak, Sajith Premadasa succeeded in increasing the total voter percentage of the UNP to 41.99%. This was the fate the UNP was compelled to suffer at the hands of the party leader, who now claims he was only in charge of the election campaign in the north and east and increased the number of votes in those areas. Can the United National Party and the UNP supporters continue to suffer at the hands of this losing streak? Can the current leadership take the party towards the victory anticipated by its supporters?
Now, several views were expressed regarding the transfer of Director of the Criminal Investigations Department, SSP Shani Abesekara.
Shani Abesekara. We have information about discussions held between Shani Abesekara, Ranil Wickremesinghe, Ravi Karunanika, Patali Champika and other ministers in Sirikota when the government came into power in 2015. Gotabaya Rajapaksa is our biggest challenge. We can prevent him from contesting presidential elections again by arresting him as a criminal. I have 5 cases against him. Lasantha Wickrematunga's murder case, court cases of Eknaligoda, Keith Noyer, Upali Tennukon and court cases pertaining to Sri Lanka Navy. I will put him behind bars using at least one of these cases. I request them to appoint a presidential commission to inquire into the hunt for war heroes. There are officials in the Attorney General's Department, CID Shani Abesekara, Nishanta De Silva, Mendes and several others. We state with responsibility that they have misused the law.
Meanwhile, writing a letter to the National Police Commission, Sri Lanka Young Journalists Association has requested to suspend the transfer of Director of the CID, SSP Shani Abesekara. The written request said investigations into the murder of Lasantha Wickrematunge, assault on Upali Tennukon, abduction of Keith Noyer and several cases pertaining to journalists were being carried out under the supervision of SSP Shani Abesekara. The Sri Lanka Young Journalists Association said the sudden transfer has been decided based on political reasons and that the NPC violates the constitution by allowing such narrow decisions to be made.
තාම බරපතල
He has worked on cases pertaining to notorious criminals and corrupt politicians. He is a fearless officer. The transfer of a fearless officer like that to a faraway area in the country is a good example of the fact that the current government is not sensitive towards law and order. The Senior Deputy Inspector General of the Police is in charge of the Criminal Investigations Department. Those investigations will be carried out. A new director has been appointed and the investigation will continue.
Taking a break from your political news this evening now, headline inflation increased to 5.6% in October 2019 from 5% in September 2019. The monthly increases of prices of items in the food category contributed to this increase. Accordingly, food inflation year-on-year increased to 7.3% in October 2019 from 4.9% in September 2019.
Meanwhile, the remains of late former Prime Minister D.M. Jayaratne was brought to the parliamentary complex this afternoon.
The remains of the former Prime Minister were brought to the Vigulavatta Public Stadium from his house based in Gampala in a vehicle parade. Subsequently, the remains were airlifted to the parliamentary complex. The helicopter arrived at the Parliament grounds at around 1 this afternoon. The remains of the former Prime Minister were brought to the Parliament complex in a vehicle parade. The remains were carried by Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa, Speaker Karujaya Surya, Deputy Speaker Ananda Kumarasiri, General Secretary of Parliament Dhammika Dasanayaka and Sergeant at Arms Narendra Fernando. President Gotabaya Rajapaksa also paid his final respects to the former Prime Minister this evening. Former President Maithripala Sirisena also paid his final respects to the late D.M. Jayaratne. Subsequently, the remains of the former Prime Minister were airlifted to his residence in Gampala. The former Prime Minister passed away at the age of 88 while receiving treatment at a private hospital in Kandy. MP Anuradha Jayaratne said the final rites of the former Prime Minister will take place tomorrow afternoon at the Doluwa Haliyadda Stadium in Gampala with state honours.
Edinburgh University returned a set of 9 human skulls to their homeland of Sri Lanka in a repatriation ceremony today.
The skulls, thought to be over 200 years old, were taken from this place of origin more than a century ago. The skulls will be presented to the chief of the indigenous community, Uruvarige Vannila Atto, after anatomy researchers at the university agreed to their claim as the earliest inhabitants of Sri Lanka. Uruvarige Vannila Atto attended the presentation at the university's Playfair Library in the Vedda dress of a knee-length sarong and holding a traditional axe.
The Met Department forecasts showers in the eastern, north central, over Sabaragamu and southern provinces during the next few days. Issuing a special notice predicting heavy showers, the department stated heavy showers of 100 to 150 millimeters are expected. Several areas in Colombo were inundated due to the heavy downpour.
The annual Research Symposium 2019 of the University of Colombo began in Colombo today.
The foremost research event of the university marks its 11th edition of the annual Research Symposium this year. The theme chosen for the annual Research Symposium 2019 is Health and Well-being. The theme aligns with Sustainable Development Goal 3 of the United Nations. At this event, the university's academic staff, along with affiliated researchers, presented the research project that they have been working on during the year. Traditionally, the inaugural ceremony features a keynote address on the selected theme. This year, due to the involvement of the executives of the Vice-Chancellors of the Asian University Alliance membership, the keynote address was replaced by a panel discussion on the Asian experience of research and innovation. It is hoped that the ideas generated would enable all the universities in the alliance to reflect on how their overall culture relating to research and innovation may be improved. This symposium was also supported by the Ministry of Higher Education, highlighting its value in the promotion of our nation's research and development.
And with that, we bring to a close this edition of Primetime News. For the Newsfirst team, I'm Yuki Pasha.
And remember, to stay ahead, you need to stay close to Newsfirst. For this, simply log on to our website, that is www.newsfirst.lk. I'm Tarusha Kumar Singha. Have yourself a great and a safe Friday night.